Hey, boys and girls, moms and dads, children of all ages, Todd Vandermine back for another edition of Freedom Steel, former NRA contract lobbyist and Illinois gun law guru. So today, I haven't talked about a lot of legislation here in Illinois because every time an anti-gunner farts, they think they get the smell of a good idea. And they turn around and they file some of the most god-awful stuff. Most of it never goes anywhere. Sometimes they have a committee hearing and everybody gets all flustered. And then they do what they always do. They wait till the end of session and they start gutting bills and throwing stuff on them and adding stuff because that's the way the Democrats operate. So we have another one of those. Last week in the House amended House Bill 218 and threw in a bunch of language creating liability chains for gun dealers, gun manufacturers, and a whole host of other parts. This video could run long, so I may have to break it up into a couple of parts. But the underlying purpose of this bill is very simple. In the Protection and Lawful Commerce Act, there was a good faith clause that if somebody was breaking a state law, a legitimate, waiting period, background checks, whatever, if they weren't following that particular state law, selling to 13-year-olds, that then they would not be subject to the immunity clause of the Protection and Lawful Commerce Act. Well, in light of the case out of Massachusetts, I think, in Massachusetts or Connecticut, where a marketing consumer product or consumer protection statute was used to pierce that. And the Supreme Court has not taken that up and dealt a fatal blow to that. It has now given the anti-gunners the idea to run across, and where they have anti-gun attorney generals put into place these kind of catch-all consumer protection bills and marketing, to go after marketing and things like that. And so we're going to take a quick dive through this. Like I said, this could get very long. There's a bunch of stuff in here. I'm going to show it to you on the screen. I've got a printed copy with my notes on it. So if I'm looking down at stuff, I'm trying to get through this. So here we have the videos, or the definitions. So let's go through firearm as meaning set forth in Firearm Owners Identification Act. Firearm accessory means an attachment or device designed or adapted to be inserted into, affixed onto, or used in conjunction with the firearm that is designed, intended, or functions to alter or enhance the firing capabilities of the firearm, frame, or receiver. Two, the lethality of the firearm, or three, the shooter's ability to hold and use a firearm. That's interesting. Firearm ammunition. Firearm industry member means a person, firm, corporation, company, partnership, society, joint stock company, or any other entity. Keywords there. Any other entity or association engaged in the design, manufacture, distribution, importation, marketing, wholesale or retail sale of the firearm-related products, including sales by mail, telephone, or internet, or in-person sales. Okay, this opens up a bunch of things. And when we get down here to the things that they're going to claim are illegal, let's think about this design part. So any other entity engaged in the design. So let's say that you have Todd's Gun Company, and I'm no computer whiz, and I'm not a drafting whiz, and I'm not an engineer, but I have this idea for a gun. And what I want to do is I want to make this. So I call up this engineering firm and said, hey, I want you to make this part for me. They draw the part, they design the part, Great. And then I take that part and I go to a set of lawyers. And I say, hey, I want you to make sure that this does not run afoul of a copyright over here. And I go ahead and I design my firearm. And now I distribute that firearm through bona fide distributors like RSR or Ellipses, something like that. So now there's a cause of action that we'll get to in the other stuff. But that means that that engineering firm who simply drew some drawings could be liable. That means the law firm that did the stuff on research on the copyright could be liable. If RSR is selling guns and distributing my guns to somebody else, they could be liable. And all RSR did was place an order with me. I shipped it to them in full compliance with the Gun Control Act. And then I turn around, and then they turn around and they sell it as an FFL to other FFLs because they don't deal with private parties. And if anything happens, so this is how broad, because now you're talking about, if you're engaged in the design, manufacture, distribution, importation, marketing, if you go get a loan from a bank to finance the manufacturing prospect of your new idea, does that mean they're involved in the manufacturing? I don't know. It's kind of open and vague and a very big catch-all to try to just shut firearms people, whether they be parts, whether they, think about a screw company. All they do is make screws, roll pins, springs, and yet they're providing a part for a firearm and or an attachment or anything else. And now they get caught up in this. So let's continue. Firearm-related product means a firearm, firearm ammunition, a firearm precursor part, or firearm component, or a firearm accessory that meets any of the following. The item was sold, made, or distributed in Illinois. The item is intended to be sold in Illinois. The item is or was possessed in Illinois. It was reasonable foreseeable. These are just catch-alls. Straw purchaser means a person unknowingly purchases or attempts to purchase a firearm-related product. So now they're trying to criminalize firearm-related products. Okay, could that go all the way down to CLP or frog lube? A boar snake? With intent to deliver that product or to another person who is prohibited by federal law or state law from possessing a firearm-related product. I don't know of any laws where felons can't own screws or whatever, but they're trying to really crank this up. This is vague and crazy. Here's a really unique part. Unlawful paramilitary or private militia means a group of armed individuals organized privately in violation of the Military Code of Illinois and Section 2 of Article 12 of the Illinois Constitution. We're going to have to do a separate video and dive into all that. It is unlawful. It is an unlawful practice within the meaning of this act for any firearm industry member, remember that's engineers or anybody else, through the sale, manufacturing, importing, or marketing of firearm-related product to do any of the following. Knowingly create, maintain, or contribute to a condition in Illinois that endangers the safety or health of the public by conduct either unlawful in itself or unreasonable under all circumstances, including failing to establish or utilize reasonable controls. Reasonable controls include reasonable procedures, safeguards, and business practices that are designed to A, prevent the sale or distribution of a firearm-related product to a straw purchaser, a person prohibited by law from possessing a firearm, or a person who the fire ministry member has reasonable cause to believe is a substantial risk of using a firearm-related product to harm themselves or another individual, or of possessing or using a firearm-related product unlawfully. B, prevent the loss or theft of a firearm-related product from the fire ministry member. So if they steal a handguard, you're on the hook. Comply with all provisions of applicable local, state, and federal laws, and do not otherwise promote the unlawful manufacture, sale, possession, marketing, or use of a firearm-related product. So a dealer who suggests that people might not comply with the Illinois state law and registration is now in violation of this. Let's see. 2, advertise, market, or promote a firearm-related product in a manner that reasonably appears to support, recommend, or encourage individuals to engage in unlawful paramilitary or private militia activity in Illinois, or individuals who are not in the National Guard, United States Armed Forces Reserve, United States Armed Forces, or any duly authorized military organization use a firearm-related product for a military-related purpose in Illinois. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, we're going to have to do a whole separate video just on this paramilitary stuff. And you've seen them talking about this, about the law they passed in New Hampshire and stuff. Yeah, they're coming out here and they're going to try, they not only hate the Second Amendment, they hate the First Amendment. They hate the First Amendment for marketing and selling guns and our commercial speech. They hate the First Amendment for our right to get together and train. This goes against the Yazell decision. So I wonder if they're going to have a hearing on this bill this week or not in the Senate. 3, except as otherwise provided, advertise, market, promote, design, or sell any firearm-related product in a manner that reasonably appears to support, recommend, or encourage persons under 18 years of age to unlawfully purchase or possess or use a firearm-related product in Illinois. All right, full stop. All right, we need the gunny here.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
It's unlawful for anybody under the age of 18 to buy a gun from an FFL. I don't know of a single FFL that sells to somebody that is not 18 years old. And in some cases, they don't sell to anybody under the age of 21. So you can't legally buy a gun if you're under the age of 18. So what is this actually doing here? Now you talk about advertised market. Okay, you don't want us advertising in Boy's Life. You don't want us advertising. Yeah, let's see. So going on here. A, in determining whether the conduct of this firearm industry member as described in this paragraph reasonably appears to support, recommend, or encourage persons under the age of 18 to unlawfully purchase a firearm-related product, a court shall consider the totality of the circumstances, including but not limited to whether the marketing, advertising, or promotion, design, or sale uses caricatures that unreasonably appear to be minors or cartoon characters, offers brand name merchandise for minors, including but not limited to clothing, toys, games, or stuffed animals that promotes firearm industry member or firearm-related product, offers firearm-related products in sizes, colors, or designs that are specifically designed to be used by or appeal to minors as part of a marketing, advertising, or promotion campaign designed with the intent to appeal to minors. Time out. You can't stop us. Under the First Amendment, you can't do that. Number one. Number two, what is wrong with sitting there and offering hats, t-shirts, whatever, because the Cricket rifle, specifically designed for junior shooters. You don't want Boy Scouts having a rifle and shotgun merit badge anymore, do you? You don't want any of this. And like I said, they hate the First Amendment now as much as they hate the Second Amendment. is placed in a publication created for the purpose of reaching an audience that is predominantly composed of minors. That's Boys Life, the scouting magazine. This paragraph does not apply to communications or promotional materials regarding lawful recreational activity with a firearm, such as, but not limited to, practice shooting at targets on established public or private target ranges, or the hunting, trapping, or fishing in accordance with the Wildlife Code or the Fish and Aquatic Life Code. They got a catch-all in here, but you got to go defend yourself? Yeah, no. Otherwise engage in unfair methods of competition or unfair or deceptive practices or practices declared unlawful under Section 2 of this Act. It just goes back and refers to itself. Let's see. Paragraphs 2, 3, and 4 of this subsection are declarative of existing law and shall not be construed as new enactments. The provisions of these paragraphs shall apply to all actions commenced on or pending or after the effective date of this Amendatory Act of 103rd General Assembly. The provisions of this section are severable under Section 1.13 of the Statute of Statutes, and it takes effect upon becoming law. So what we have here is an attempt to silence the firearms industry and to go after the ability to recruit junior shooters. And they really don't like our training stuff they're going to categorize it as paramilitary. And I tell you what, I'll do a second video just on that. So this bill passed the House. It passed on about 70 votes. I will tell you right now, it is the key for another video I'm going to do. This bill passed the House. It is now in the Senate. As of tonight, let me click over here and double check on this real quick. Oh, gotta go. It's back over here. It is still in the Committee on Assignments as of tonight at 10 o'clock. So call your senators, although they already have a boatload of all the Chicago guys are on board. Some of the suburban guys are on board. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to have a committee. We'll see if this goes to committee. They're now running out of time. The clock is ticking. They're supposed to adjourn Friday. So they now have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to meet the 3 reading requirements. It's been read a first time. It's in assignments. Let me double check that here real quick as I look at it. Yep, it was read the first time on the 11th. So they now have 4 days to get through the 2 readings. My guess is they will waive the posting requirements for the 7-day notice on the posting for committee, and we'll see what committee it goes to. If it goes to committee and they offer remote testimony, I just might stick my nose in there and ask them a pile of questions. So, yeah, let's look at it. It was 71 to 40 on the roll calls. Let me just look at a couple of names. I take that back. There's one good Democrat, Anthony DeLuca. But looking at the rest of these, Lance Yednock voted yes. Vela voted yes. Hoffman voted yes. Katie Stewart voted yes. Trying to think of any other downstate Democrats. Gordon Booth voted yes. Yeah, I'm having a hard time going through this list and finding any downstate Democrats other than DeLuca. DeLuca's not even down. He's a Southern Cook County guy. One more. Larry Walsh was not voting on it. He was probably off the floor. So I take that back. There are two decent Democrats left in the Illinois House. Tony DeLuca, Anthony DeLuca, and Larry Walsh. Those are the two. Everybody else, all the other downstate guys seem to have fallen in line and are the wonderful Miss Kifowit, who wants to wear her logistical Marine Corps service on her sleeve. Yeah, forgot that she took an oath to the Constitution. But we'll get in there. So, anyways, guys, yeah, call your state senators. Let them know you oppose this bill on a whole host of issues. There are. It's got First Amendment issues. It's got Second Amendment issues. It violates the tenets in Ezell. It does a lot of things, and I'll dive into a bunch of that stuff with the paramilitary stuff. But even an engineering firm could be wrapped up with this. And what engineering firm, if there's a potential? And mark my words, if this thing goes through in the next week, and once it's signed into law, the minute this thing goes through, you can bet every town Brady and everybody has got a stack of lawsuits to start going after people. They will. The lawsuits that were filed against Smith and Wesson and whoever over Highland Park, that stuff is simply going to explode. They may drop those and start all over again because they now have a new cause of action, and this is gonna have to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is gonna have to call bullshit on these Shylock laws and just put the kibosh on it and say no. You can't sue a lawful industry for making a lawful product. And we're not talking about cigarettes here. We're talking about something that's specifically enumerated within the Constitution. So with that, as always, thank you. Like, copy, subscribe. We are over 8,500 subscribers and getting stronger every day. We really appreciate it. It's all because of you guys. And I did see a bunch of your comments about the clickbait that I had in my last week. Yep, we don't put clickbait out here. We're not going to sit here and hype a headline or put something out there that isn't true. Not going to do that. Just not my style. You either like the content or you don't, and the content I provide will live or die on its own merits, one way or the other. So please, as always, guys, don't forget to support your local gun shops. And I'll tell you this: this Sunday coming up. Let me double check my calendar right here to make sure I got the date right for everybody. This Sunday, the 21st, is the last Kane County Sportsman Show in St. Charles at the Kane County Fairgrounds. So please, I'll be up there. We'll have a little booth up there selling some of our wares, and I encourage you, come on by. Hopefully it'll be a good show. We would hope that there would be another Freedom Week going on during this gun show, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen just yet. As of close of business today, nothing out of the Supreme Court. Justice Barrett could act any time. We're holding our breath. No, not really. I don't want to turn blue. But come out to the Kane County Sportsman Show this weekend. Stop by, see a bunch of the local guys. We'll have a donation jug there for the Second Amendment Defense and Education Committee to raise more money for those guys to help fight these lawsuits, because this could be another lawsuit to jump into if this thing goes all the way through. And we don't know that it will. But in the last 10 days of session, it started making some moves. So, guys, that's a real quick update. 25 minutes, a little longer than usual. A lot of stuff to cover. But as always, thank you very much, and frag out.